And then it happened, book number 8, chapter 3, 3 on 3. When something in life seems too good to be true, it usually is. Earlier this week, Gordon, Paul and I had been watching TV when a commercial came on announcing a junior boys 3 on 3 basketball tournament. The grand prize was $1,000. The catch was that the tournament was being held in a city a couple of hours away, but although our parents gave us permission to go, none of them were free to drive us that day. If we wanted to go, they said, we would have to take the train and pay for it ourselves. We had our own money, so that was no problem, or so we thought. The day of the tournament arrived and we headed off to the train station. With any luck, we would return that evening $1,000 richer. Gordon, Paul and I were excellent basketball players, and Gordon said he'd bet anyone that the city boys couldn't even spell basketball, let alone play it. We waited in line to buy our train tickets, and when it was our turn, Gordon stepped up to the counter and said, 3 return tickets to the city, please. That'll be $185 even, said the man. $185? Exclaimed Gordon. But we've only got $36 between us. Well, that'll only get you one ticket, one way, said the man. Sorry. Our dream of winning the basketball tournament was dashed. We sat down sadly on the bench outside the station before returning home. Suddenly, Gordon sat up. Hey, he exclaimed, I've got an idea. Returning, Gordon rushed back into the station and came out a few minutes later with a one-way ticket. How's that going to help us? I asked. No time to explain, called Gordon over his shoulder. The train's about to leave. Come on! Exchanging puzzled glances, Paul and I followed Gordon onto the train. We no sooner sat down than the train pulled away from the station. Within a few minutes, a voice announced over the speaker that a conductor would be coming around shortly to take our tickets. Follow me, whispered Gordon, heading for the tiny washroom at the back of the compartment. As we squeezed in and closed the door behind us, the occupied light above the door clicked on. Minutes later, a conductor entered the compartment and began taking people's tickets. Noticing the occupied sign above the washroom door, he knocked and said, Tickets, please. Gordon opened the door a crack and slipped out our one and only ticket. Thank you, said the conductor, and he moved on to the next compartment. We waited a few minutes longer before opening the door and returning to our seats. Well, Gordon, I have to hand it to you, I said with admiration. You are a genius. Yeah, agreed Paulo, but how are we going to make it home tonight? We're broke. Oh, that's easy, said Gordon. When we win the basketball tournament, we'll have more than enough cash to get home. Paulo and I glanced at each other. You mean, said Paulo, that if we don't win the tournament, we'll be trapped in the city with no way home? Gordon, you're not a genius. You're an idiot. Gordon shrugged his shoulders. Maybe you're right. I don't have time to plan that far ahead. Just then, 3 tall kids sitting across the aisle from us got our attention. Hey, said the tallest one. That was a pretty clever trick you pulled with the ticket, paying for one and getting 3 people on. Did we hear that you say that you were going to a basketball tournament in the city? That's right, said Paulo. So are we, said the shortest of the 3, who had to be at least a whole head taller than any of us. You can't, laughed Gordon. It's a junior basketball tournament. You guys are too tall to enter. Yeah, well, we could use $1,000. We've got our kid brother's ID, and we're going to tell them we're just big for our age. But that's cheating, and it's wrong, said Gordon. Yep, sort of like 3 guys getting on a train with 1 ticket. Gordon, Paul, and I rode the rest of the way in silence. We were doomed. There was no way we could beat these guys. They were all well over 6 feet tall. Man, I hate cheaters. Our bad luck continued. In the very first round of the tournament, we were chosen to play the high school kids from the train. Talk about irony. We were easily beaten and out of the tournament before it barely began. As if losing weren't enough, we now had no way to get home. The high school kids continued to win game after game until they had won the tournament and our $1,000 prize. We followed them back to the train station at the end of the day and watched as they purchased one ticket. They were going to try Gordon's trick and save money by buying only one ticket and sneaking on board. Gordon approached them. Being as you basically cheated us out of winning that tournament and seeing how you're using my trick to get on the train for the price of one, do you think you could buy us one ticket so we could get home too? His question was answered with loud laughter. Forget it, loser. Find your own way home. Once again, Gordon, Paul, and I found ourselves sitting on a bench outside the train station with no way of getting aboard. And then it happened. Gordon suddenly brightened and said, I've got a great idea. Come on, follow me. But Gordon, I began. No time to explain. The train's about to leave. Paul and I had no time to argue. With no tickets, we quickly boarded the train behind Gordon and sat down in the compartment behind the one the high school kids had entered. Come on, whispered Gordon, but don't let them see you. Following Gordon, Paul and I crept into the next compartment and sat down in the last row of seats. Grabbing some magazines that had been left in the seats before, we hid behind them and waited. When the announcement was made that the conductor would be around shortly to collect tickets, the high school kids stood up and headed into the small washroom and closed the door behind them. I don't think we were spotted, said Gordon quietly. And a few moments later, he got up and walked back to the washroom where the three high school boys were hiding. Gordon knocked on the door and said in a deep voice, Ticket, please. The door opened a crack and out came a ticket. Thank you, said Gordon, and he took the ticket. Paul and I quickly got up and followed Gordon into the next compartment. We headed straight for the washroom and locked ourselves in. Within a few minutes, the real conductor knocked on the door and said, Ticket, please. Gordon opened the door just enough to slip the ticket out. Thank you, said the conductor, and continued on his way. We were fairly certain we had left our compartment. We were fairly certain he had left our compartment and moved on to the next one. We opened the door and we followed him. This ought to be good, said Gordon. We ducked down into the very last seat and watched the conductor go up the aisle collecting tickets. The three high school kids, who thought the conductor had already passed through their compartment, were sitting comfortably in their seats. They were startled to see him approach them and ask for their tickets. But we already gave you our ticket. Tickets, stammered one of them. I don't think so, said the conductor suspiciously. I haven't been in this compartment yet. Yes, you were. A few minutes ago. We were in the washroom. I was in the washroom and handed you my ticket to the door, said the biggest kid, clearly intending to let his friends fend for themselves. Hey, wait a minute, demanded one of his friends angrily. Who says that was your ticket? I didn't see any ticket, interrupted the conductor. So, unless you can produce 3 tickets right now, I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you all to get off this train. He waited for a few seconds before the high school kids finally admitted that they had no tickets. But I told you, protested the first kid as the conductor helped the boys to their feet and steered them toward the back of the train. I already gave you my ticket. Shut up, Dylan, ordered one of his friends. If we're getting kicked off this train, you're getting kicked off this train with us. Gordon, Paul, and I shook with silent laughter as the train came to a stop and then started on its way again a few minutes later, minus the 3 high school boys. Don't you just hate cheaters? Asked Gordon as he waved out the window at the 3 angry high school kids. End of the chapter.